Another new little detail on the bottle. What's up, everyone? Special Friday review for the brand new Stagg Batch 15. That's right, I'm getting used to not adding the junior in there. They got rid of the junior with batch 18, but now they have added something else on batch 19, a batch number. In this case, 22B. It's been a while since I scored a Stagg for myself. Let's break it down. Today, it's the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? I'm Jason C from the Mash and Drum, and welcome back to the show. Like, subscribe, and help grow the channel for 2023. So Stagg Jr. was first seen in the fall of 2013 with a big hearty proof of 134.4. Now, being the junior to George T. Stagg, this was expected to be more widely available at first. When that first Stagg Jr. released, it was seen a little bit too harsh for the average drinker. Now that may be true, but as enthusiasm for higher proof bourbons grew, so did the popularity of the Stagg name and barrel proof bourbons in general. Now in 2021, Buffalo Trace announced that batch 18 would be the first batch to lose junior from its name and simply be called Stagg. Stagg is typically released twice a year, and historically, the only way you knew what batch you had was just by the proof of that specific batch on the bottle. But now, just like batch 18, batch 19 has no junior, but they have added a batch number. In this case, if you look on that label, it says 22B. Now, while some may see this as some big deal and makes the bottle more valuable because any time Buffalo Trace does anything, it's automatically unicorn tiers, that's just not the case. Honestly, it was a matter of time until the proof points started repeating each other. In this case, batch 19 is the same proof as batch 7 was from 2016 at 130 proof. I'm assuming that 22B just means the second batch that was bottled from 2022. I would also assume the next one we see should be 23A. I mean, time will tell. Stagg is considered to hover between 7 to 9 years old. Contains the undisclosed Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 1, associated with popular brands like George T. Stagg, Colonel E.H. Taylor, among many others, and retails for $70 if we're even lucky to find it at $70. So of course we're gonna compare this to my favorite batch of all time, which is batch 12. I actually might throw batch 15 in there because that was a very, super sweet batch. But before we dive in, it's your chance to score a great deal on my favorite pre-drink prebiotic. It is ZBiotics. Check it out and come right back. That's right, they are back. Today's sponsor is ZBiotics, the amazing probiotic I've been using behind the scenes for a while now. You guys remember the top bourbons of 2022 list? I drank through, a ton of samples to make that top 10. I think I picked like my top 20, 25, did a whole bunch of blind tastings. Well, ZBiotics is what helped me get through all those tastings each and every time. So why does it work so well? ZBiotics was developed by some very smart scientists who knew the real problem is not dehydration, it's actually a byproduct of alcohol, which is most responsible for rough mornings after drinking. We've all been there. ZBiotics produces an enzyme like the one your liver uses to break down this byproduct. So anytime I know I'm gonna have a few drinks or I'm gonna have to taste through a bunch of samples for reviews or for a barrel pick, I take ZBiotics and the next day I can wake up, get to work, get back to the gym, work out, make more content, and get back to just being productive. All I do is drink one of these about an hour before I start drinking, and that's it. Now, I still drink water, stay hydrated, I still try to get a good night's sleep, but ZBiotics will make it a lot easier for me to be productive the next day, especially when trying to balance work, barrel picks, content, and everything else going on in my life. I call it a game changer, and based on other feedback that I've heard from you guys, you agree. Again, it's real science that works, no random plant extracts, no off-the-shelf ingredients, 100% money-back guaranteed if it doesn't work for you, no sugar added, all natural. Here's the deal. Get 15% off your first order of ZBiotics pre-alcohol probiotic by clicking the link in the description box and using my code MASHANDDRUM at checkout. Go to zbiotics.com/mashanddrum or scan the handy QR code on the screen right now and get 15% off your first order. This stuff works, so what are you waiting for? Go and grab some now. Thanks to ZBiotics and to all of you for watching, for making the sponsors happen. So 130 proof, guys, let's dive in. It's interesting because to me, batch 18 was a kind of an off-profile Stagg, junior, Stagg, whatever you want to call it, I felt like that was more oak forward, is a little bit more harsh, I think, to some people. It had its sweetness, but this to me goes back to more typical Stagg, what we're used to. Deep brown sugar, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of grape as well. Heavy cinnamon. There is that typical Buffalo Tracy sweet oak profile it has. Like, this smells like a Stagg. I mean, the cherry cola note that you get here. Yeah, but it has that little underlying grapiness to it as well. Man, I'm digging this. I mean, it smells like Eagle Rare on steroids, to be honest, but that's basically what it is. Nice little hint of sweet molasses. I get this slight hint of rye spice here. I mean, it is faint, but it's like a, it's like this little like mix of savory citrus, just underlying all like that sweet, like that brown sugar cherry, that rich caramel, a little molasses. This is all Stagg, you know, from all indications from the nose. All right, let's try it. I gotta be honest, the first sip I just took of that was extremely soft on the palate. Like, I didn't get a lot of, I was waiting for like a brunt force of flavor, but it actually, let me try again here. Oh, there we go. Okay. I just let that one sit on my palate a little bit longer. This takes you back to a sweeter profile, not like Batch 18 was, where I feel like it was a little bit more oak forward, a little bit more savory. This comes in with all those Stagg Junior flavors that you love. It's nothing crazy, nothing different. I wouldn't say it's overly sweet like Batch 15 is. The oak presence here, I still think is a little bit lighter. It wouldn't, I mean, we're gonna compare it again, like I said, to 12 and 15 and see how it, you know, holds up. But first couple sips, this is exactly what you would expect, and I'm kind of glad it's going back to what it was after Batch 18. This is a little bit more on profile, I think. I gotta tell you though, the third sip, this does not drink like 130 proof. Now, I drink high proof, you know, bourbons all the time, so my palate might be a little bit desensitized to a higher proof bourbon, but this does not have that Stagg brunt of force that I'm used to. There are batches that have had that, where you feel that alcohol punch, you feel every bit of the proof. This one, especially on the front of the palate, is coming off very, you know, it's just like, hi, I'm Stagg, what's up? You miss me? I'm sweet and I'm easy. Don't be scared, come right in. Wow. It's getting more grapey the more I drink it. But you would, man, that might be the easiest sipping Stagg Junior I've ever had. I mean, it keeps like waffling back and forth. I mean, there was some, you know, big flavor here, but now it's starting to come off more into that medicinal cherry cola type note. A little bit of that oak, molasses. The vanilla caramel is obviously all there, but this does bring you back to the profile. But I gotta say, for a Stagg, or Stagg Junior, whatever you want to call it, I'm trying to remember a batch that drank this easy for 130 proof. It's really remarkable how it's coming off to me on the palate. Let's compare it to Batch 12 and to Batch 15. Just looking at this, it's a good day when you're drinking 3 Staggs. All right, so here we go. We have the Batch 12, which is probably still universally seen for me personally. Like, it's all personal preference. They have been great batches all throughout the releases, some better than others. But for me personally, 132.3, batch number 12 is still my favorite batch ever. But batch 15, which I think is super sweet, is also a really good, I think it's a great batch to bounce new batches off of, just to see what those changes look like. I think batch 12 has a little bit more oak influence. I think batch 15 has a lot of sweet. I want to see where batch 19 falls here. 131.1 proof on batch 15. So let's go through batch 12 real quick. Compare it to 19. Oh man. In comparison, batch 12 still has that oak presence that balances out the sweet. Whereas batch 19, it's getting sweeter. Sweeter and sweeter. Let's go to the batch 15 now, which I really thought was sweet. It's pretty similar. I think, Obviously, this is a fresh pop on 19, so it's, man, but I think 15's right there with it in terms of sweetness. All right, let's try them on the palate. 12. See, 12 to me has the oak and like this grapey, syrupy, it's like this mix of grape syrup extract. Almost get like this toasted sesame seed note in batch 12. And just that, oh my gosh. It's like Coca-Cola extract. All right, let's go to 15. Batch 15, man, is that sweet. Batch 15 like takes you straight into a candy shop to me. It is almost cloyingly sweet, like just sugar on top of sugar. It's like drinking a bowl of like Fruit Loops. To me, it's just got a lot of like candy coated. It's like everything you love in Stagg Junior, but it's got like a candy coating on it. Just like this extra level of sweetness to it. That's why I think a lot of people love 15 so much. You guys let me know down in the comments, what's been your favorite batch of Stagg that you've ever had? I'm always like to kind of hear what people think and what batch they like. Again, I'm a 12 guy. Let me know what you guys like. And I think that batch 19 lives somewhere in the middle. It's not as sweet as 15, but it's not as dark as 12. As easy as this sips at 130 proof, I actually like this over 15. I don't think I like it as much as 12 still. I think 12 is still the GOAT. I think it's still the greatest of all time in my opinion. But batch, and I do like this. I don't have my 18 anymore because that was a bottle I borrowed when I reviewed it. But I think this is better than the last batch as well. I think 22B is going to be a big favorite for a lot of people. Let's go to the final breakdown. All right, guys, final breakdown for the brand new Stagg Junior Batch 19 22B. Price for it, retail, 70 bucks. Secondary market value, again, you rarely see these at $70. Secondary market, you're seeing these anywhere from $250 all the way up to $450. Availability, I mean, it's Buffalo Trace. It's a unicorn, unless you're willing to pay, you know, the high prices to get one. When it comes to value, I think that Stagg Junior was always seen as a really high value barrel proof option. But unfortunately, that's just gone out the window. Now, if these were around and you could see them every now and again, I would say, you know, that's a really good value. But the fact of the matter is, you just don't see these at retail anymore, unless you know someone or have a good relationship with a store. So I'll say, at retail, you know, it's a high value, but in today's market, it's not a great value, especially when you consider how many barrel-proof bourbons are on the market. What's the highest price I'm willing to pay for this? I think in general, for Staggs, I kind of stick to the rule of like 150 to 200. If I really want a bottle of Stagg, I'm willing to go to that price because I don't know if I'll ever see it again, but chances are you might see this bottle for even higher, and it's really just gonna matter to personal preference what you're willing to pay to get one of these. Alternatives, I mean, let me count them. So many barrel-proof bourbons these days. I mean, you have Wild Turkey Rare Breed, you have Booker's from Jim Beam, you got Smoke Wagon Uncut Unfiltered, and of course you have, you know, Elijah Craig Barrel-Proof 12-year, which is, you have 3 times a year to get that. A, B, and C releases. So there are plenty of options available out there if you can't find Stagg, among, you know, many others as well. Lastly, is it a recommend? I mean, doesn't really matter what I say. If any of you guys, I know 95% of you watching right now, if you see one of these, at least at a good price, you're gonna pick it up because it's a Stagg. I mean, why wouldn't you? So yeah, it's a recommend, but it's really because of that flavor. I think it brings you back to the more traditional Stagg flavors that you're used to. You know, the heavy cherry, little cherry cola, molasses, brown sugar, all that stuff. But let me remind you, this is a very easy batch of Stagg to sip on. I mean, all those sweet flavors, it goes down pretty easy. So if you do get one, just be careful. You might go through it a little bit quick. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed watching this review for the new batch 19 of Stagg, also 22B, as it's going to be called now. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter. Let me know down in the comments. Again, if you've had this, do you agree with my assessment? And also, what your favorite batch of Stagg Junior / Stagg is of all time. And as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. So until next time here on The Mash and Drum, cheers.